Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'll be reading a multi-character listener by me, so let's get into it. Rui. Now Rui may be a little bit obsessive over you, but you can't really blame him. He worries a lot about you. He loves you. In his head, well, there are many thoughts in his head. Way too many. And most of them involve you. It's like you were a parasite of sorts, clouding all over his thoughts, and taking hold of his heart and mind as if you were your own. To be honest, he didn't mind being yours, since you're his too. He got to call you that, and that was all he wanted. To feel like he had someone who loved him, someone who cared about him, someone who wanted him safe and sound and loved. It was everything, but it also didn't mean that you would get off easy if you messed up. Ray was. Ray was a complicated person, and so many of his emotions conflicted with one another, especially after the two of you became a thing. And that's why, when you accidentally had ruined something that he had planned for, he was very angry, and it took just about everything in him to control that anger and rein it in. Ray, I'm really sorry. I know I messed things up, but I didn't mean it, he said, and he took a deep breath, closing his eyes, and exhaled. 1, 2, 3. Inhale again. He was tired. He didn't want to argue, and most of all, he didn't want to hurt you, so he would just look at you and say, Lion, if you want to be alright, then you better get out of my way right now. I love you, he would say, because that's all he can say to comfort you right now, but anything else would be a lie. And you would immediately know that it's about time you got out of there. You don't want to make him mad. And I assure you, he's not nice when he's mad. Not at all. So you're much better off if you leave and come back later, when he is suddenly calmed down and able to talk to you once more. He would wrap his arms around you so gently and hold you, looking into your eyes once the anger in him had finally disappeared. I'm sorry, Mayan. I really am. I didn't mean to scare you like that, but it just happened. But I'm sorry. You know I'm sorry, right? I know, Rui. Please, stop apologizing. I promise you I'm fine. It's fine, really. He whispered to him, guarding a hand through his hair. You knew things would not be perfect between the two of you, but you were trying your best. Both of you. And even if your best was sometimes weird or strange to others, or unusual, it was your best and not anyone else's, and no one had a say in how it went. And for now, so long as the two of you weren't unharmed and not hurt by anything, everything was fine. That's all that really mattered. Because as long as the two of you are right and neither of you hurt the other, then whatever happened, it could be fixed. Muichiro. It's really difficult to get on Muichiro's nerves. Mostly because there's not a lot that he requires or wants from someone. He just wants a calm life, and wants you to be happy, and he wants to be happy as well. That's all he asks and all he will ever want. So it's not too much, is it? And yet, there are too many hardships in your relationship. Perhaps due to the nature of his work, and how things are sometimes, but can you truly blame him when he's trying his best? It's too much. There's too much that he has to do. Too much for him to actually try and fix. And yet he's trying. So at least thinks that's worthwhile. But somehow, it feels like what he's doing will never be enough. Will never be good enough for you. And that's what sparks the fight. He gets mad at you for wanting him to take a break when he knows that he can't, and he told you that he can't, and you don't seem to understand one bit. Wyan, I know you don't understand what I'm going through, but I'm trying. I'm trying my best. Well, certainly you're not trying hard enough. You've been working all week, Muichiro. I'm only telling you to stay behind one day. That's a little bit too much for you. It's not about you, Wyan. It's not about you or me or us. It's about those people that I'm leaving behind. Those people who may die. Just because you want me to take a break and go on a date with you. That's selfish, Ryan. Don't you see how selfish it is? Those people need me. They need me to help them, to fight for them. And you can't, but I can. That's why I'm doing this. You have to understand. It's not because I don't want to spend time with you. That's all he said. Before letting out a tired sigh. Because he's gotten out all he can and he's said a lot. And yet he feels very tired. Because he knows you won't understand him. It's an argument that two of you may have as long as this goes on. As long as he continues to be in a Hashira and endangers himself and stays away from you. But he hopes that this time will end soon enough. That Muzan will be gone and that everything will be fine. But for now, those arguments shall continue until maybe you get used to it. Though if he had any say about it, he thought it was more likely that Muzan dies than you stop arguing about this, which said a lot. But either way, he would leave immediately after the argument, not wanting to stay a moment more, not because he's mad at you or hates you or something, but he just wants to escape the tense atmosphere of the house. And he does not want to argue further. Usually if he argues further, it will be a very, very bad day for both of you. He doesn't want to ruin your day, or ruin your relationship with some messy word he may say. He doesn't want to mess up, that's all, and that's why he will avoid you, until he's quite sure you've calmed down. And until he's calmed down as well. He loves you, he truly does. But some choices are important to make, and not all of them are easy. And today's choice was certainly not one of them.